Hey everybody, welcome to Goose's Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots, and I'm here with Andrew Lee, bro. Andrew Lee, how you doing, bro?
A little sick,
Oh,
but all right.
got the COVID again?
No, I think it's diarrhea for real.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. Yeah.
Check
I've
out
been
the
feeling
shirt
this.
today.
It looks kind of like what I just did a couple of minutes
What, Jake the Snake,
ago.
baby?
Jake Roberts' shirt, huh?
Yeah, he looks, dude. I hate to jump ahead. He looks like shit on this show. He looks like shit.
Yeah, but when you are surrounded by shit,
Yeah.
it doesn't look that bad, right?
Yeah. Not much. Twitter likes to act like there's a lot of news going on. Not a lot of news. I mean, obviously the Vince thing, but we covered it last week. There's nothing new on that front. And CM Punk got injured. That's a I know it sounds like there's nothing going on. I mean, WWE Mike. I sold my stock from WWE today. Did I tell you that? I don't know think I told you.
No, no, no. Tell us about your stock, man, from WWE.
I got stock when he left, and he kept going up and up, and it went down, and now it's not moving. And I just anticipate the more that comes out, it's gonna go down. They're gonna. So I traded it in for Microsoft stock.
All of it?
Yeah, yeah. The money I invested in WWE, I put in Microsoft. Yeah,
All of it. You
yeah.
took
There's
all the
no
money
point.
out.
Yeah, because it's just I can already tell from what Triple H did, they're not gonna handle this well. So
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are kind of thinking.
and like I can already tell like they this is the problem. This is the problem
Yeah.
with that company. And I said this in the last podcast. They think that they can Vince McMahon their way out of this. So you could have video footage of Vince McMahon shooting two children in the head, and he'll like book like, okay, okay, I understand it looks bad. How about this? Hogan versus Warrior, Hell in a Cell. And everyone forgets about it. And he just like he Vince McMahon's his way out of this. Nobody else could do that. So I think they think that they're just going to be able to ignore and stomp their way through this, and they're not, and then they're going to get stopped cold in their tracks.
Do you think there's any possibility that they can Vince McMahon their way out of this?
No, because they're not Vince McMahon.
That's a good point.
Just like
That
Bill
is a good
Watts can't Bill Watts his way out of anything. But
he can.
that's all for modern news. Do you have an opinion about CM Punk? I mean, it is what it is to me. I don't really.
I think there needs to be, especially for him, he needs to take a hard look. He probably already has. This is the third time he's been injured, almost like in within 2 years or something like that, right? It's not good. I think he either needs to like really consider changing up his style.
I think that's it.
Yeah, or realizing like maybe his heart wants to go, but his body just can't anymore. So I don't know.
He can
He's gonna
go.
have a jump for life over there doing something. So I wouldn't worry if I was him. But he just
He can go. It's just that he tried to go just as fast as some younger guys in the Rumble, and that's to me that's dumb. I think he has to realize he's more Jerry Lawler than fucking Will Ospreay at this point, and
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good
around
point.
change it around. He can still go. He just has to his pride wants him to still believe that he's 20, but he did take 10 years off, and it's not like he did matches here and there. He did nothing for 10. I mean, he stayed in shape and he
Yeah, and when he first went to AEW, he even said himself he was not gonna train. Right? Do you remember that? In the press conference, he's like, "Oh, I'm not really gonna train." And then as soon as he came back, he got injured, and I think he started realizing my game plan. He's CM Punk has a history of being way more overconfident than he should sometimes, right?
yeah.
And I think this is one of those things he's got
He
to
did
really look at hard himself.
he didn't become like his old self until that MJF match, I thought. And then 4 months later he got injured. But his all his collision matches I thought were pretty good. He was like operating at a high level then. But it's just if also I wouldn't have had him had a month off between rings. I would have had him wrestle another house show before the Rumble.
Yeah, possibly. I
Or
think
wrestle on Raw because I feel like him not wrestling. But listen, here's the deal. let's say he retires today, right? They got what they needed out of him. He put code like I said that the other day. Like I said, like WWE immediately got their money's worth out of this guy, whereas AEW is probably gonna have Okada wrestling Lee Marshall. No, yeah, they'll probably
Lee
resurrect Lee
Marshall, yeah,
Marshall.
Lee Marshall, yeah.
Lee Marshall. Yeah, let me tell you, that's he's gonna have Lee Johnson on fucking Rampage for 4 people. So, dude, that's the thing. Like, so Okada might sign with AEW, and everyone's just like dreading that he's gonna fight the Butcher on Collision. You know what I mean? Like, no one is like, "Oh, this is gonna be so good," because I think they're gonna turn Okada and Osprey and Monet into just everyone else. Monet, they're just gonna wrestle meaningless matches.
I actually, you know my opinion. I think they both should have. Monet, I'm not even gonna call her that. It's such a stupid name. Sasha Banks and Okada, they should both sign with WWE, in my opinion. But whatever. You know what? If they go to AEW, that's fine with me. We'll
I
finally get
still
an Okada action figure that's not $40 or up.
Yeah, well, that's it. If they're still making AEW action figures by the time they get to Okada.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to ask you that offline, but it's not about this. It's about Super 7, but never mind, man.
All right, so let's get into this. Let's get into
Wait, before we begin, what's the next pay per view we're watching after this?
Survivor Series 92.
Oh God, thank God.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do like multiple WCWs in a row. Survivor Series 1992. Good, good, good.
Oh, yeah,
I'll
dude.
do
What a breath of fresh air for Survivor
it.
Series. Dude, I
Yeah.
can't believe they had to rep, even still in 92, of being like the company with the better work rate. Um, I was, I was
Who says that, by the way, man?
the older fans back then.
Jesus, these
And the
fucking older
Dave
guys.
Meltzer fan, the older fan. If
See,
you
if you are somebody who like is like a Dave Meltzer fan, I can't take your opinion about what happened in the past.
if
I
you
just
went up to
can't.
an older fan in 92 and you were like, WWF has better wrestling than WCW, they were like, what are you talking about? You're so fucking stupid. Oh, I'm 40. I'm 40 and I do a wrestling podcast.
Hey, wait a minute.
That's us.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but guys our age thought this was the fucking tits, and it was. Can I tell you the thing, the one thing, and I was just like this fucking guy. This I want
Tell
to.
us, baby.
Okay, so it's Halloween Havoc, and all the other Halloween Havocs had a little set, and all the future ones have like a little set to make it Halloweeny. There's no fucking set. It's just like a fucking ramp. There's nothing that indicate that this is a Halloween themed show outside of little graphics at the beginning. And I'm like, bro, you can't even have a fucking set with little pumpkins. Like, just have a pumpkin. Just get a pumpkin and put it in the ramp. This guy, how if they didn't fire him, they wouldn't have made it to 94. That's my prediction.
No, I think you're right. I think maybe he was like a fucking like, oh, that's an unnecessary cost. Like, no, you fucking idiot. Your son is an unnecessary cost. Like
I just was like, you don't have you don't have any type of set here. Like,
you're absolutely right, and that's like you're right. They should have even a pumpkin. You can't even get like a fucking pumpkin that costs maybe like $1 or two.
just,
But that was like the least thing, the smallest thing wrong with this entire show. With this is like
but it's like it's just
everything is wrong.
indicates why this guy is clueless. Like, it indicates like an overall problem. Like, no, no,
Yeah,
no. That adds to the show. They don't call the show Halloween Havoc. Call it WCW Showdown or some bullshit. So you don't
yeah.
like you called it Halloween Havoc. Put some Halloween stuff. That's what makes the other shows fun. Whether it add like, dude, that adds a lot. I like the atmosphere adds a lot. That's why Vince won because he always knew you have to have atmosphere. If when the Mountie,
Presentation.
yes, if, the Mountie could go be having a shitty match. Not that they ever did this, but the Mountie could go have a shitty match with fucking Skinner, right, at WrestleMania. But if the Mountie's like riding a horse and he has like Canadian women like dancing around him, you're gonna remember that more so than the match. It's about the atmosphere, so it doesn't matter that the match sucks. Here you have nothing, nothing.
I think that's part of the reason why Jake the Snake Robert didn't look good here because in WWF, Vince knew how to present him. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
he's like, no, we just don't say Jake the Snake Roberts and he comes out with a snake and that's what gets him over. It's the overall presentation, meaning let
You,
him do a promo, right? In his voice before the match.
mhm.
Let him don't put him in situations where he's gonna look like a fucking idiot. He's
Oh,
not the best wrestler in the world. So don't put him in like like hide his flaws, accentuate
a year
his
ago,
strengths.
a year ago,
Mhm.
he looked like the man, and now he looks like a fucking buffoon. It's
Yeah. Well, everybody looked like a buffoon. I feel like a buffoon watching this fucking thing.
This was a
You
rough
know?
shot. If you think for a second that the 91 Havoc is bad and this one, I think a lot of people think both are bad. But the 91 Havoc is a million times better than this show. A million times better. That Chamber
I
of
think
Horrors match is better than anything on this card.
this thing is pretty bad. It's nothing about it is good, except for like maybe one little thing. But we'll get into it. Halloween Havoc 1992, spin the wheel, make the deal. When I saw this tagline, I thought every single match was going to be spin the wheel. No, it's only one fucking match. So it's stupid tagline. It's like, you know what? It's like saying Halloween Havoc 1992, three against three. There's only one match that has that. It's stupid. Anyway, October 25th, 1992, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is where it takes place. 7,000 people had to sit through this horrendous fucking show. I felt bad for them. Can you
Oh,
imagine sitting on your ass in this fucking place for 4 fucking hours? I would want to kill myself, you
oh,
know?
yeah. And this show, you, there's such contempt for the wrestling fans on this show.
Yeah. I mean, when I went to AEW World's End, I couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there. I just wasn't having a good time. The just matches weren't that good. The crowd was annoying, and I ended up leaving before the main event because I
But I
just
bet
couldn't
you
take it
World's End
anymore.
was better than this.
Yeah, yeah, and exactly. I left early because I couldn't take it anymore, and that was better than this, much better than this. I don't know how people were sitting there for this whole thing, but they were.
Yeah, they were.
Anyway, the intro graphic, like Ray you mentioned, is the only real Halloween themed thing. We see Sting howling at the moon, Jake Roberts laughing like a villain, and we get ghost images of Ron Simmons, Rick Rude, Chono, and Barbarian Animal, stuff like that. Tony Schiavone no longer with Eric Bischoff. He's with Bruno San Martino, and they welcome us, and they go over to spin the wheel, the options of what it takes, what it is. Where is Eric Bischoff here?
Probably trying to hang himself in the back. He was actually, I don't know why they didn't use him for this show, but I don't think he liked Bill Watts. He was actually, before the word came down that they were going to fire Bill Watts and need a replacement, he was thinking about quitting and getting out
Mm.
of wrestling because he said everyone says the same thing except for McFoley. Everyone says it was miserable under Bill Watts. Arn Anderson said that, and Eric Bischoff. He said it wasn't a fun place to work at anymore.
I can
There's,
see
there's
why Cactus Jack didn't mind it. He barely does anything. He doesn't have to. He's getting paid not to fucking fall on concrete and shit. He
Well,
just
Bill Watts liked him. He didn't. Bill Watts didn't like a lot of people. He liked Cactus Jack. So you know why he liked Cactus Jack? He's like, this guy will. This is why I like Cactus Jack. This idiot will land on his head for $5, and that's
yeah,
great because it makes my show look better. And
true.
he's an
Yeah,
idiot, so that's why he liked him.
yeah. I also they're in Philly. They're in Pennsylvania, which is kind of like the town, the state of Bruno San Martino. So I also think that's probably part of the reason why. But
He's more from
anyway,
Pittsburgh, which is like really far from Philly, but like
yeah, it is. It's true. It's like 4 hours away from there.
I
But
also feel like they have Bruno there as a fuck you to Vince. So
yeah, that's probably true too. Either way, no Bischoff. They do show a clip of Cactus Jack training Barbarian, who's gonna have a match. And they show you a clip of the problems between Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham. And they also mentioned that Rick Rude, he's gonna have 2 matches tonight. They make a point of saying this, which is fucking stupid. And afterwards, they show Missy Hyatt. She's outside of Rick Rude's locker room because she wants to find out more information about his matches. Yo, what is Missy Hyatt dressed as? Because she's like the one of the few people dressed up in this Halloween episode.
You know,
What is she? A genie?
I can't remember. If I saw a picture, I might know. I can't remember. I know. I just thought it was a sexy outfit.
I thought it was a genie, but I was like, it wasn't like a complete genie. But whatever. It was hot.
Probably
It
had a
was
more
hot.
elaborate costume. Bill Watts yelling, "That's bullshit!
Yeah,
Halloween for
it's
fucking
like a half
losers!
genie costume, but
This is
she was
wrestling."
she's very attractive in it, right? She's very attractive.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I just thought it was a sexy outfit. I didn't realize it was a. It was a. I didn't realize she was actually trying. She was actually trying to match the theme of the show. Unlike
Yeah. Yeah.
no
And
one
Bill
else.
Watts is like, Halloween is stupid. Nobody likes Halloween. Take off half the fucking gear that you have on. Jim Ross and Jesse Ventura on commentary. Jesse Ventura, I think it's his like Phantom of the Opera or some shit. He takes off his mask. He's gonna wear the cape the whole time, and he does make fun of how ugly Jr. is, going like, "Oh, Jr., that's your Halloween costume. It's your face. It's so ugly." And Jr. no sells it. He no sells almost everything Jesse Ventura says.
Mm,
I hated Jr. This fucking show. I
why?
hated
I
it.
can't hate him.
I hated him. I'm gonna go over why I hated him, but this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
We're gonna go to our first match. It's a six-man match, so trios match. Arn Anderson, Michael PSAs, beautiful Bobby Eaton. No fucking connection between these guys. They're just in a random
No,
match.
they did. Paul Heyman has Michael Hayes as a consultant for them. They say that.
Oh, now it is. Okay, all right. It's part of his
So he
Danish
was
line.
hired
Okay,
by Heyman to consult them.
it's all right. Um,
I'm sure if
versus
we watched the horrible weekly show, we would have saw it.
okay, yeah, you're probably right. Versus Z-Man, Johnny Gunn, and Shane Douglas, who has returned. Hey, with no John Laurinaitis. Um, he's too busy pooping on somebody's head, probably. Hey, this Johnny Gunn, he related to the Billy Guns?
No, no.
Okay. He spelled it the same way, two N's.
That's the way you spell it in wrestling. If you're gonna spell
Yeah,
no.
I guess you got to spell it with two N's. Gun. You see superfan Vladimir in the front row for
Yes,
this.
Vladimir was
Yeah,
made.
even the ECW had guys there. You see him like pretty much right next to Vladimir.
Yeah, well, remember this is before ECW, so they had nothing to go to in Philly. So I'm sure when this was announced, they ran there.
That's true. Yeah. So this was like they were WCW fans before
I mean,
ECW.
we could have. I mean, if you think about it, our parents would have said no, but we could have driven there and went to this.
That's true. Billy Gunn and not Billy Gunn, I'm so sorry. Johnny Gunn and Arn Anderson, they start the match and they do this spot where all the baby faces, they all hit drop kicks at once. Uh, Bobby and Michael P.S. Hayes, they get cheered a lot,
Mm.
even though they're the bad guys. And it's very interesting. Um, Ventura in this match goes, "Oh, Shane Douglas, he looks like a Republican." And he doesn't
Yeah,
like
that came
that.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. And he also goes, "Oh, look at Bruno Sammartino. He's aged. He looks terrible. He's aged poorly." I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, it was just kind of weird that he just said all that stuff randomly out of
Mm-hmm.
nowhere. The crowd, they're cheering for Arn Anderson when he starts taking cheap shots at Z-Man, and then like Bobby Eaton, he fucking clips Shane Douglas's leg, and he starts working over the leg. Remember, these guys are the bad guys, but the crowd don't care. They like the veterans. They're cheering the veterans.
Nothing. Shane Douglas hasn't done anything interesting yet in his career. Uh, and the other two guys, like I think people were just sick of Z-Man at this point.
Ah, it's too bad. I like the Z-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Gunn, he makes the hot tag to no reaction. And chaos happens. Everyone's in the ring, and then Johnny Gunn hits a Lutez press on Michael P.S. Hayes to win. The crowd is not happy. Were you happy, Ray?
No, this match was boring. The minute I saw Michael Hayes walk out with that dumb look, you know what, dude? I don't know when. Listen, if you are an executive member of the TKO board, fire Michael Hayes right now. I can guarantee you there are things that he has done that they're gonna ruin your company. Just get rid of him, even if he's innocent. Just get rid of him. Get that stupid face. Get rid of him right now. Get rid of
It's
him.
so weird because I like Michael Hayes in this role. All he does is he's always in the opening match. He's never like anybody like important, dude.
I couldn't get into this match, but I just hate, you know what, Michael hate? He's everything wrong about wrestling to me. He's everything I don't like about wrestling. Everything. Whenever somebody would say to me, "You should get a job in WWE," dealing with a guy like Michael Hayes made me go like, "No, I would never want to work for them." He's one of like the top 5 reasons why I would not want to work in WWE. Imagine having answering to that idiot. When I was
Yeah, that would piss me off too. But as a wrestler here, where his like Michael Hayes is a veteran, right? He's been in one of like the biggest feuds in wrestling with the Von Erichs here, but he's been relegated to opening match jobber, right? He takes the pinfall in this. And
yeah.
I'm like, you know what? That's fine. Like, that's fine with me. He's relegated to opening. He's jobs a lot in the opening match. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Mhm.
So you know, I have no problems with him as a wrestler in this role. Now, executive, that's a different story, but I'm willing to uh separate those two. Anyway, Missy Hyatt, after this match, she's back at Rick Rude's dressing room, and Harley Race comes and she goes, "Hey, can I get in?" And he goes, "No," and he goes right in. I don't really get all this stuff, but I think it's just a way to get Missy on television because she is very attractive.
Yeah. She's like their mean Gene at this point.
Yeah, she is. I've said this plenty of times before. She's very good in her role. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Hold
Yeah.
on 1 second.
Yeah.
All right, we're back. Yeah, so yeah, the Missy Hyatt, she's hot. So there you go.
Yeah. And we're gonna go to match number two. Brian Pillman versus Ricky Steamboat. Special challenge match. During the intros, you hear somebody coughing into the microphone. I'm like, so unprofessional, the show, just the fact that like you hear someone going like I'm like, why? Can you guys just be more professional? There is a sign before this match begins that says the return of Watts, the return of wrestling, WCW, which not only is it stupid, but it's also insulting. What are you saying that WCW wasn't having wrestling before Bill Watts then? Like
Yeah, because no, because that's how Bill Watts sold it to the fans that this was like the real wrestling. I think you know what I think it was with older fans? I think they thought that real wrestling had to be boring. Like it was boring. Like it was like this is a contest, so I'm not here to entertain you. So if my way to win is I put a guy in a headlock for 20 minutes, you just have to sit and watch me put the guy in a headlock for 20 minutes because I need to win this match.
you might be right. That might be exactly why they viewed it that way. And you know what? So then Bill Watts isn't the only fucking idiot in this arena. You know?
Exactly. I think older fans thought like, yeah, there shouldn't be any bright lights. There shouldn't be they shouldn't be dressed like cartoon characters. It should just be like a battle, but a boring battle because
There's no fun in WCW. Wrestling's not fun. It's not
yeah.
supposed to be fun.
Mhm.
Um, by the way, Jim Ross does mention that Ricky Steamboat, he has been multiple tag champions, he's running off all his titles, and he also mentions that he was a tag champion once with number one, Paul Jones. Remember that guy? Remember him?
Yeah,
Paul
yeah, yeah,
Jones?
yeah. I remember he did mention that.
Yeah.
He's mentioned that at the last show too.
Yeah, he should have been on this show. Shit should be all put
Paul
together.
Jones should have been the booker, not this guy.
Yeah. So early on in this match, Brian Pillman he sends Ricky over the top rope, and then Ricky he skims the cat. But even if he didn't, isn't that like a DQ though? Automatic.
No, I think you have to land. It's like the Royal Rumble.
Oh, okay, so then Ricky
If you
Steamboat's
get
an
thrown
idiot.
off the top rope and you catch yourself, then you didn't get thrown off the top rope.
Then Ricky Steamboat's an idiot. He should have just let himself get thrown over because he was already thrown over. He should just
Yeah.
not skim the cat, but just he would have won the match right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just stupid. This is these rules.
These
They
rules, these
changed so
rules,
much. Yeah.
I can kind of get like, no, you can't be thrown on the top rope in the 50s, 60s, maybe even like or to the mid 70s, right? Because, these guys were acrobatic back then, right? So I
Yeah.
get it. You kept it in the ring but like at this point in 1991, stop with this shit. Stop with all these fucking archaic rules that just make the matches suck. They don't make the matches better. Because instead of like just enjoying the flow of the match. When he threw Ricky Steamboat out of the ring, you are like, oh, the match is over because this company's filled with idiots. You're not enjoying like the athleticism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but not only that, it's like these rules are going to be changing, and that makes it even worse. If you're going to make these fucking stupid rules, at least stick with them or something.
Well, they changed it because they got rid of Bill Watts. So.
No. I mean, like even while Bill Watts is there on this show, they're fucking all over the place.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, and okay, so Ricky Steamboat, one of the cool spots in this match, which I wish would somebody would do it now. Ricky Steamboat, he takes a body slam, and when Brian Pillman's looking away, he gets back up and he just calls back down on the ground so that he's faking being like down from the body slam. And then when Brian Pillman goes to get him, Ricky just pulled him down face first into the mat. And I was like, that's a great fucking move. Someone should do that, you know? Like
Yeah.
fake injured and then you just sucker the guy in. There is a loud Brian sucks chant, which signifying that he is now a heel. And Ricky Steamboat is going to dominate most of this match.
Mm-hmm.
They both fight up on top. Now, this is where I start getting crazy. They're both on the top turnbuckle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brian gets pushed down, and then Ricky jumps down to like attack him. And he doesn't get to attack him because uh, Brian Pillman like drop kicks him, only for a 2 count. But like, and they were doing a lot of hot top rope moves. I guess the top rope move was removed already at this point.
I don't know. It might have been. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, because the mats are still not outside. Going over the top rope is still a DQ, but top rope moves seem to be like allowed. But
Yeah.
then you're gonna see people avoid the top. Like some people will avoid the top and go off the second turnbuckle, but some people, like in this match, are gonna go off the top rope consistently. So it's very fucking confusing. There's no consistency with this stupid fucking rule, you know?
No. No.
But anyway, Ricky, so speaking of the top, that's exactly how it ends. Ricky Steamboat does a sunset flip off the top rope, right? And then covers him, but then Brian Pillman reverses it, but then Ricky Steamboat reverses it again for the win. They're very confusing match because of these fucking rules. What about you?
It was okay. I mean, they both worked hard. I think under any other regime, this would have been a better match.
Yes, I think under any other regime, they would be like, you guys go out there and you do what you want to do, you know? I know you said Bill Watts wanted to turn Brian Pillman into a jobber, but he's like a high level jobber.
Yeah.
You know, like he's getting to wrestle guys like Ricky Steamboat. He's not like jobbing to Michael P.S. Hayes.
I
He's
think
not
it's a little.
jobbing to
I
Johnny
think it's
Gunn.
kind of like an exaggeration. Like you know how they always say Triple H was punished after the curtain call, and then meanwhile, in October he has the fucking IC belt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it's one of those like, when you watch shows like, all right, this guy wasn't really being punished. He was on TV.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. I think losing to Johnny Gunn, that's more like a punishment, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Let's see if he loses to Johnny Gunn the next show.
yeah, he's gonna put his dick in your face, and then you're gonna eat the pinfall. That's how you're gonna lose. Right?
That's his gun. That's his Johnny Gun.
Yeah. Teddy Long, he is in Chono's locker room. With Chono's in there with the NWA president Sakaguchi, Kensuke Sasaki, and Hiro Matsuda. And he is Hiro Matsuda. Teddy Long asked him, "Hey, who's gonna be the official?" Because both components get to pick their official, and they pick Kensuke Sasaki, whose name Long really butchers. He just fucks up his name real bad. He's going to be official tonight. I don't know if you know Kensuke Sasaki. Kensuke Sasaki actually he's going to go on to be doing pretty well in Japan, including he's going to become the Japanese Road Warrior.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, he replaces Adamo for a while.
Yeah.
Why is Teddy Long a backstage interviewer?
Probably because they didn't know what to do with him for a minute, so they told him to do that.
Yeah. Tony Schiavone, he's with Bill Watts, and Bill Watts mentions, oh, Harley Race, he's going to be in Rude's corner. He's going to be Rude's official. And then he talks to Terry Gordy. Terry Gordy says suspended. He breached his contract. But we advertise him as we're still going to have it. Dr. Death Steve Williams, he's going to pick Steve Austin as a replacement. And he also says Rick Rude, who we kept advertising going to have 2 matches tonight, is not going to have 2 matches. Instead, he is going to pick Vader to be his replacement to face Nikita Koloff for the U.S. title. Huh? That's my name. Like, can you do that?
Why would Vader agree to that? Like Vader was just a world champion. Now he has to defend this guy's belt.
Yeah, he's not even getting the title. It's so stupid. Yeah. And I thought, oh, this might lead to like a match where he goes like, I'm not like I won the belt, now I'm gonna keep it. It's gonna turn to him versus Rude. And that shit don't even happen. It's so goddamn stupid. What's the story with Terry Gordy? Was he like really like why didn't he show up for this?
But I don't know. Maybe it was probably like drugs or something. I don't know.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be like, yeah, I'll be there for Halloween Havoc. How many jack o' lanterns you guys gonna have? Huh? None? Wait. Is everybody gonna be in costume?
Or he probably
Only Jesse.
he got into it with Bill Watts. He was like, Bill Watts is a fucking idiot, and he left.
Yeah, he's like,
Oh,
what? No jack o' lanterns, no costume. Fuck you. I'm not coming to this stupid thing.
mhm.
Match number 3. It's a no DQ match, except for the rule that Missy Hyatt camp is barred from ringside. So fucking dumb. No DQ. No Missy Hyatt though. That's the one. That's the one
If
thing.
she comes out, everyone's DQ'd.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so stupid. That makes no sense. So there's no DQ, but if she comes out, what happens? The match is over? The
Yeah.
stupid. It's for the US title. Nikita Koloff versus Rick Rude's substitute, Vader. Ole Anderson is the enforcer, and he says, hey, not only is Medusa barred from ringside, Rick Rude and Harley Race, you're also barred from ringside. This is like the worst no DQ match that I could think of. There's too many rules already, for this no DQ match. Nikita Koloff, to his credit, he can match power with Vader, and Vader has to take a breather outside multiple times because he just can't get the advantage over Koloff. And Koloff actually follows him outside, which is a mistake because he gets sent right into the guardrails. And then Vader uses a chair on him. And then right when he after he uses a chair, a fucking beard comes flying, hits him right on the face. Fucking Ventura calls it and he goes, I'm some idiot fan did that. There's no place for that. It was like good call by Ventura to make sure to
Did
say
like
that.
was it like a can of beer? It was actual can?
No, it was, you know what it was like? It looked
Plastic.
like one of those like fast food cups.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vader no sold it. He
Yeah,
hits him in
because
the face.
Vader's not gonna be like, "Ow, this fan hit me."
Yeah. The crowd loved it though when it hit him in the face. That shit was
Yeah,
like perfect. It's a perfect game, whoever did it.
Those Philly fans don't give a fuck.
They do not. They do not. Vader does a splash from the second buckle, right? Because he's like, you can see him hesitating. I'm like, why? But even this is why it's so stupid. Even if the top rope like is banned, is this is no DQ, so it doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um. Anyways, and it's like, you know what else I was thinking? If you're gonna allow moves from the second turnbuckle, you might as well allow moves in the top turnbuckle. It's the same bullshit, you know. I was thinking when I was watching this, I was like, you know who they need to hire to replace Triple H? Bill Watts. They need to hire Bill Watts for this.
you
This
know,
is
Vince had Bill Watts in '95 for a little bit.
really.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see those fucking shows.
these guys, they just get grandfathered. They're like the mob. They're like
Yeah,
the mob. All these guys.
they never leave.
Yeah,
So both going back to this match, both guys they trade moves that drop each other on their fucking heads. They're like sandbagging each other. I don't know if you noticed that, right?
yeah, they are.
Yeah,
They
they're
are.
like
You know, this is it for Nikita Koloff. He doesn't wrestle after this.
really
Vader injured him so bad he had to retire.
in this match.
Yeah, this is it. This is his last match.
Oh yeah, because there was a moment where it looked like Vader picked him up, but then just dropped him on his head. Didn't get the full lift,
I think
and Nikita,
that's what caused it.
that's what it was. Oh, anyways, he Nikita Koloff, he's gonna still keep wrestling after this. He hits the sickle on Vader over the top rope to the floor, and then Nikita Koloff follows him outside the ring again, and he sickles. He goes for the Russian sickle, but he hits the post, which Ventura saw coming. He said every time he goes outside, it's just like a mistake. And then Vader throws an injured Koloff back in the ring, hits a power bomb for the win. I thought Jesse Ventura was great on commentary in this match. He called the story of this match. Like every time Koloff goes outside, it's a mistake. He shouldn't do that. And the problem was Jim Ross was giving this guy no fucking feedback. Anytime Jesse Ventura said anything, Jim Ross was pretending like he wasn't there. You know?
Oh, really?
Even when Ventura was making good points. And I was just like, you're a fucking idiot, JR. You know?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I just thought JR was an idiot. Like he just wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, no, Jim Ross is like, I think he's decided at this point that I'm not working with this guy. I'm not giving him anything. He shouldn't be here.
Why?
Because Jesse Ventura is doing WWE style commentary, and Jim Ross wants to still do sports based. He wants to talk about the football teams they were on in college and the basketball teams and
which is stupid because there's a point where where Ventura brings up baseball and Jim Ross like admonishes him for that. He
I'd
goes
say I
like,
don't
"Why
think
are you
Jim Ross
bringing?"
likes baseball.
Oh, Jim Ross is a fucking hypocrite. He's always been a hypocrite. So fuck that guy. You know,
Yeah, I
fuck.
could tell why Bischoff when he takes over got rid of Jim
Yeah,
Ross.
yeah. I totally understand why he got rid of him, and I am actually for getting rid of Jim Ross at WCW at this point.
Mhm.
Um, Jim Ross and Ventura, they talk about Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham, and Ventura thinks, man, these guys are having problems. They're not even training together. You know, I don't. I think this is gonna be a big problem in this match. This next match coming up. Teddy Long, he is with Steve Austin and
Oh, wait
Steve
a minute.
Williams.
You didn't ask what I thought about Vader Nikita.
Oh yeah, what did you think about that match? Sorry.
I liked it. I mean, I liked it for the wrong reasons. I usually don't like Nikita Koloff matches, but I like this one because I kind of felt like they were hitting for all the wrong reasons. They were just hitting each other really fucking hard, and I almost felt like Nikita Koloff was like better at this type, but obviously he wasn't. He got hurt in this match, but I didn't mind it so much. There's other worse shit on this show, but I didn't mind it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I thought you were gonna say I like this match because this is his last match.
That's another reason. That's another good reason to watch it.
All right. So Teddy Long, he is with both Steve Williams, Steve Austin, and Steve Williams. And Steve Williams does this stupid trick or treat promo that makes no sense.
Oh, he sucks.
Did you hear his trick or treat promo? It was dumb, right? He's
Yeah.
like, trick or treat, trick, you wrestle us, or treat, you wrestle us. I was like, what? I was like, what does that fucking mean, you idiot? Um, Missy Hyatt, she is with the tag champions, and she asked about the rumors. Hey, you guys don't get along. It's not just rumors. We've seen it. There's a clip of it,
Yeah.
and they're like, those are just rumors. The rumors are wrong. There's no problems between us, and we're gonna go right into our fourth match. This is for the unified tag titles. Just remember, this is the NWA and WCW tag titles. They created these two titles because there were gonna be separate rules. Do you remember?
Yeah.
The NWA, you could go up top ropes. WCW can't. But then they fucking unified it. So I guess you can go up the top ropes, but it doesn't matter. We've had other matches where it's not the NWA title on the line, but you get up to top rope. It's just all sorts of all over the place.
So stupid. It's just
Yeah,
a waste of time.
exactly. Austin and Williams versus the tag champions, Dustin and Barry Windham. Jim Ross, he initiates it. He goes, the referee is, don't call me Pee Wee Randy Anderson. And Ventura goes, Pee Wee? Pee Wee? Don't call me Pee Wee. Okay, I'll bite. Why don't call him Pee Wee? And Jim Ross completely ignores him.
Ah!
I wanted to be like, you're a fucking asshole. You brought this up. And then you just Jim Ross is such a fucking idiot. You know, like I hope AEW fires him. He's such a fucking idiot.
He's so mad. He's so mad. And look, I think he gets better in WWF, but he's so mad that he's not calling like real sports. Like he wants to be in wrestling because he has power, but he wants to be treated like a real sport, but it's never gonna be. And then when people like treat it like how it should be, like a fucking cartoon show, he gets so mad. He gets
Yeah,
so
but here's the thing though. He's the one who go, don't call me Pee Wee. So if anybody's not treating it like a real sport, it's Jim Ross. So
well.
when
I
somebody
mean, that's
questions him on it,
that's the guy's. You know what I think? You know why I think Jim Ross also got annoyed because that everyone called this guy Pee Wee Anderson, and the fact that Jesse Ventura didn't realize that was his nickname. I think that like you don't even pay attention to anyone who works here. Maybe that's why Jim Ross got mad. Like you don't even
maybe,
we
yes,
all call
right.
this
But
fucking
like,
guy Pee Wee all day long, and you never noticed that, and now I have to explain it to you on the air. Like fuck you. Like
yeah, maybe that's that. I think that's a little unprofessional. You address it on the air, and then maybe afterwards you go, "Hey, man, can you just pay attention to the fucking product
can you
more?"
just pay attention to the company? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe you do that afterwards, but
Well,
like as,
Cactus, I listen. Cactus Jack said Ventura didn't like stay up on the storylines. You had to like kind of like fill him in when he was there. Be like, oh yeah, the storyline is because he just wouldn't. keep up with WCW. But probably because he realized this is bullshit and there's no reason.
Yeah. You know what? If that's the case, which is probably true, yeah, I get it. Jesse Ventura is being unprofessional, but dude,
But
don't
just play
just
along
like
with it.
yeah. Yeah, play along with it.
Gorilla
Exactly.
Monsoon wouldn't have that Gorilla Monsoon would have gave like a snappy answer back, like because he doesn't like that's his nickname. We talk about it all the time. Like you don't pay attention. Like what's wrong with you? You got to pay attention at the
Yeah, I
meet.
would have said that. Well, maybe if you paid attention more, you would know
Yeah,
why people don't call him Pee Wee. Something like that. Exactly. Play
and
along.
he's like
But
Gorilla. Yeah, that's but but Jim.
Jim Ross, I'm telling you, there's so many moments in this. I hated him in this whole entire show.
This man. I'll tell you what I hated. This fucking match. Jesus
Oh
Christ.
my god, this match is so
This
fucking
fucking
long.
dude. There's silence in the building for most of this match.
Oh my gosh. So you know, watching these WWE shows made me realize how not good Steve Williams is.
Yes, he's horrible.
He's really not good at all.
No.
Um, Bill Watts and Jim Ross, though the bumbling idiots that they are on this guy's nuts. Though they are on his ball sack.
Meanwhile, he's with Steve Austin, and they're going on about Steve Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, Steve Williams and Dustin Rhodes, they're going to start, and they do have an exciting exchange of shoulder blocks and clotheslines in the beginning. And I want to say this is more because of Dustin Rhodes. You
Yeah.
know,
You know what I
Steve Williams likes
realized?
to do like. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I realized they really should have gave Dustin a big, big push in this era. Not just keep him in tag teams. There were moments he looked just like Cody. Like
Yeah,
and I'm like, they should have made this guy their champ. Like now. I'm talking like 92. I'm not talking about like down the road. I'm talking like 92. He should have just been the guy. Like I really think they really fucked up with Dustin Rhodes.
yeah,
And
and
I think
you could tell this exchange is exciting because of Dustin. Because Williams, his mo was like, "I'm gonna get you in a headlock and we're gonna do some mat work to start the match." That's
yeah,
how he normally does it. But
yeah.
Dustin's like, "No, no, no, we're gonna do this thing where I can man up to you. We're gonna go for shoulder blocks and clotheslines and shit right in the beginning." Like Dustin is the shit, and you know what? He has also got really good chemistry with Steve Austin when
Yeah.
they're in the ring. Oh my god! And a part of it is Austin early on before he gets injured. He is a bumping machine. Like he takes so many bumps, just knockdown, get up, knockdown, get up, knockdown, get up, and he just makes Dustin look good. And
I
he
wonder
does, yeah,
I wonder in 98, 99 if they could have just like maybe the drug problems were worse than we think in the back. But I'm wondering like when Austin was on his big run, if they could have just tapped into this Dustin and have a feud together. I think it would have been great because they have a lot of really great chemistry and it's never seen in WWF.
I know. I think you're right. If the problems weren't there in XYZ, I think they probably would have been like, hey, how about you think Steve Austin would have said no? No, of
So
course not.
I think he would have said yes if Dustin had his head on straight.
Exactly. That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't think
I think
Dustin
you're
had his head
right.
on straight.
They would have I think they could have tapped into it. It was a maybe if Dustin wasn't on drugs in '98 and they got it, hey, how about a feud? I wonder if they would have even done this thing where like maybe this is where you start coming out of the Goldust character, you know?
No, I mean, like I would remember when he abandoned the Goldust outfit. I would have had him go after Steve as Dustin Rhodes.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
exactly. That would have been right there.
but I don't I think he had too many issues at that point
Yeah.
to be the
Speaking of good chemistry, Barry Windham and Steve Williams, they actually do have good. Barry Windham, he is actually a very talented wrestler. He could kind of go well with almost everybody, even boring as Steve Williams. They do this like whole chop fight where they're chopping each other, and Windham actually wins it, but then he has a misstep and he falls outside the ring. Doc starts drooling at some point, which grosses the hell out of Jesse Ventura. Grosses me out too. It was disgusting. Barry Windham, he hits a lariat from the top rope on Steve Austin to break down the beat, to break up the beatdown,
just to
and so
break
I'm
up the
thinking,
Beatles. I was like, damn.
yeah, break up the Beatles as well. This is so I'm like confused. I'm like, I guess top ropes are legal here. I don't know. There's a hot tag, but after they're the beat up on Barry Windham for a long time, but then he gets a hot tag, gets Dustin in, but it's only for like a couple of seconds as the heat gets put on Dustin as well, and he gets beat down. The problem with this match is that And a problem with a lot of Dustin Rhodes Barry Windham matches is that they are the ones getting their ass kicked for most of the match. And I think that's a fault. They should have their matches should be more back and forth instead of just we get beat on, and we just come back in the last 2 minutes. It's like I don't,
It's just boring. It's just boring. It's
Yeah, it's
boring.
boring watching these guys get their
And
ass
you
kicked.
know what gets me when we so give the finish, and then I'll give my opinion on this fucking thing.
Sure. Austin, he puts you know what's cool? He puts Austin puts on Dustin the Jesse Ventura's old body baker submission, right? And this is one of the few times there Jim Ross and Jesse actually they work together. They go, hey, that's your old finisher, and he goes, yeah, man. You can really break somebody's back with that. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. They pointed out. Jesse Ventura, once again, great on commentary. He does point out, in the beginning of this match, Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes, they were tagging more frequently. They were working more better as a tag team. But now it's the bad guy. They're gelling better, and that's why they're tagging more. You see that they're tagging way more. Steve Williams, he busts Dustin Rhodes open, and he's bleeding. And then, what do you call it? There's a point where Jesse Ventura asks if Jim Ross goes to see the doctor. Do you ever go see the doctor? And Jim Ross goes, yeah, for this pain in the neck I get from working with you. I was like, this match somehow started bringing these two guys together. It was really interesting where they started like doing back and forths. At the 3 minute mark, Dustin makes this like tag, but the referee is distracted and he doesn't see it. And the referee is trying to get Barry Windham back in the corner. And the heels, they throw Dustin over the top rope. That rule is still in play. The ref, there's also a ref bump. So the referee, he goes to the floor. And at the 2 minute mark, a second referee comes in and he counts the pinfall, which starts getting the crowd excited. But the first referee, who's Pee Wee, he comes back in and goes, no, 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 no. Steve Austin, you pinned the wrong man. Barry Windham is not legal. And while this is happening, the heels, they don't realize that the Pee Wee is reversing the decision. And as they're hugging, Dustin Rhodes, he climbs back in. He makes the fucking heels bump into each other. And then he rolls up Steve Austin for a 2 count. But the bell rings. Go ahead.
Time limit draw. The time
Well,
limit.
what happens right before that, when they do that 2 count, the bell rings for some fucking reason. I think I guess the bell ringer just like thought it was the finish. The referee's calling it a no, 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 that didn't happen. It's a 2 count. Jesse Ventura doesn't know what's going on. Everyone's in the ring and there's confusion, but this sucks all the energy out of the crowd
Yeah.
because they still got 2 more minutes of wrestling left. And
Mhm.
about a minute left into this match, everyone starts sitting back down. Nobody gives a fuck anymore. It's dead quiet. 10-second countdown is going, and some people start doing the countdown. They're not even going for covers at this point. They're just like wrestling, and it just ends in a time limit draw. What a terrible anticlimactic way to end a 30-minute fucking match. It ended in dead silence. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Watch the ending. Dead silence.
So the match gets hot in the last few minutes. The crowd's on their feet and the action's getting really good. I even like the camera angle they choose. And then like they do like a couple of sequences that could be hot finishes, and then they're not, and then they just go to time limit draw. And then I'm sitting here and be like, that was just to kill 30 minutes of the show. That wasn't to move. You tell me that Dustin and Barry aren't getting along. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You have a new partner. That doesn't play in. It's just the same match. You have these two weird finishes. Actually, they're not finishes. They get, but they work their way through it. So you just killed 30 minutes. You just sat there and like, we need to have the show be 3 hours, and you were like, just have these guys wrestle for 30 minutes. Now we have 2.5 hours to figure out because we're fucking lazy slobs. That's what we are, because they couldn't, especially they couldn't like decide where to go with the story. Like, we'll just keep the story stagnant for 30 fucking minutes. What a waste of time. What a fucking that's all it is.
You're,
It's like, we need to kill 30 minutes on this show.
and you're absolutely right. All the things they played up before this match, it doesn't play
Because
into
they don't know
anything.
where to go with it.
Yeah, they don't want to. Do you think they mistimed the ending?
I
Meaning,
think
like that
some stuff,
exciting
yes.
sequence. What?
I think there was a mess up, yes, but it doesn't matter because like if the ending was a time limit draw, none of that matters because it didn't play into anything. It's
That's
like
true. It still didn't matter. You're right. Absolutely. That's a good point. Yeah.
it's like if Cody and Roman, I thought had a great match, but like if it's just gonna end in if all the little sequences they made, if that just ends in a time limit draw, all the little like last year at WrestleMania, none of that matters. It's just a waste of my time.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
just
This was the longest match in the show. It's 30 minutes, and it's fucking just
it's like
it
insulting.
wastes your time. It wastes
It's
your time.
insulting. It's
Insulting.
insulting to me. It's insulting to the wrestlers in the ring. It's an insulting match because it's you're old, you're fat, and you're lazy, and this is what you come up with. And you want to put your guy on TV the most. You want Steve Williams in that ring the most.
Good point. That's exactly why. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, Tony Schiavone, he is with Vader and Paulie and Harley Race, and Paulie says this was his idea and it's his honor and privilege to give half the purse money to Harley Race and Vader. He's happy that they were subs. Medusa comes in all of a sudden. She pushes Paulie out of the way. She interrupts him and she thanks Vader and Harley Race. And Paulie's mad at her. He's had it with Medusa. He says he's a man and she's a woman who is inferior to him. And she only got the job in his stable because the other hooker was busy. And he fires her and he slaps her. And then she can't take it anymore. And she starts attacking him to some cheers. What do you think about the segment?
Came out of nowhere. Like she literally comes out like she's not doing anything like heelish. She's not doing anything to undermine Paul E. She just well, it would be like if tomorrow like fucking Otis just starts calling Maxine a piece of shit out of nowhere. Like
Yeah,
after they
basically.
win a match. It's like what?
Yeah,
It just comes out of nowhere. It's very like it's mean spirited. It's like the character has done nothing to justify this. But then here's the other thing. She comes out Rick Rude later. So
yeah.
like why did you do this if she was still going to come out Rick Rude? Like it was really weird. It was really
Yeah.
weird to have in the middle of the show like that.
Every time something happens on the show, and I'm like, why did this happen? You notice that we do a lot of these. Why did this happen? What does this mean? And it's like the answer is, I know what the answer is because Bill Watts. That's the answer. Bill Watts is
Yeah.
a fucking dumb fuck.
But it's like maybe like there was nothing to indicate she doesn't walk out indicating that she has an issue with Paul Heyman. She walks
Yeah,
out like like her and Paul Heyman are fine, and then he just explodes, and you're like, where's this coming from?
yeah, yeah.
And why now in the middle of this fucking show?
Yes. Gary Capetta, the ring announcer, he invites Sting to spin the wheel, and it's a there's a flashing Halloween Havoc skull with the lights flashing. It says Halloween Havoc below it, and under the skull is a buzzsaw wheel. It's got weapons on it, shaped like a buzzsaw, and it's got all the options on it. I was like, oh, I want that. I actually want it. If they still have that somewhere, wouldn't it be cool to buy that? Right?
Maybe they're gonna make it. Who knows?
Yeah.
As a
I mean,
figure,
so
good.
do you think like when WWE bought WCW, they had this stuff like in warehouse and they got
Yeah,
it?
I think so. Remember, they do spin the wheel, make the deal on NXT.
No, but do they have this Halloween Havoc wheel with the buzzsaw wheel?
I'm not sure. I will hope they do.
Yeah. Sting, he pulls the lever and it starts spinning. The wheel starts spinning and sparklers go off. And the fucking wheel comes to coal miner's glove, which gets no fucking reaction, which is
It's the
exactly
worst
what it
choice on the
deserves.
wheel.
Yeah, that's exactly what it deserves. No reaction. It got no reaction from the crowd. It got no reaction from the commentators. That's exactly what should have happened. Nobody cared.
Because it's like I saw some of the other matches; those would have been like really cool matches, and you get this match, and it's like I've never even heard of a like. Why would you even
Yeah,
make that an option?
yeah. Why
Coal,
is it even an option?
who cares about a coal miner? This is like that's like something that people are getting excited about in the 20s. Oh, it's a coal miner's glove match. You heard about them coal miners? Oh my! If he gets that glove, it's over. He gonna win the
Yeah,
belt.
it's like the Indian strap match. Like, no, just that's so
That's even more exciting than a coal miner's glove match. Dude, Tony Khan should bring that back. Tony Khan should make a
oh, it's it's a chimney sweep hat match. Oh shoot!
miners club. Dude, Tony Khan, Okada's first match should be a coal miner's glove match against
Yeah,
Lee Moriarty.
it should be. Jesse Ventura, to his credit, he does explain right after this. He goes, "Oh, a coal miner glove. I think it's hardened. It's got metal in there, and it's gonna be on a pole, and you can use it." I'm like, "All right, thanks for explaining." Now, I'm telling you, he was
Try.
good on the commentary.
He's trying.
Peta does the intros. He brings out the NWA president, Saiji Sakaguchi. They show you Manabu Nakanishi. I don't know if you guys know who Manabu Nakanishi is, but back in the Okada, Kenny Omega, like, you know, the golden years of end of New Japan Pro Wrestling from a couple of years ago, Manabu Nakanishi was still wrestling in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He actually retired in 2020. There was an article that came out about him in 2023 last year, and it was kind of depressing. He was working at his family. He originally thought after wrestling he was going to work at his family's tea farm.
Yeah.
Found out that his family lost the farm, so he's been working at a gas station.
Mm,
And he does mention that he's still on, but NW New Japan Pro Wrestling, they have Legends contract similar to WWE, but they just started it recently with Liger retiring, and he qualified and he's getting some money from it. So it's somewhat nice to hear, but I was like kind of sad reading that he's working at a gas station. He said like there's this exam you have to take about like dangerous chemicals, and he said he failed it like 4 times. It's so hard for him. I was like, oh man, I felt kind of bad. But
that sucks.
yeah, but here he's really young. He just came back from the Olympics and everything. And Gary Michael Capetta calls him Wakanishi. So that's kind of nice too. Wakanishi. Kensuke Sasaki and Harley Race to come out there to referees. This is going to be match number 5. It's for the NWA title. Rick Rude, like you mentioned, comes out with Medusa, no selling the fucking Paul Heyman
But she just
firing.
got fired from Rick Rude's group.
Yeah, it makes no fucking sense.
Oh God.
So stupid. It's so funny? Rick Rude doesn't even have the US title. Like Vader still didn't give it back to him.
I know.
It's so stupid.
Just
He is
dumb.
gonna be fighting Masahiro Chono, who is the NWA champion. He comes out with Matsuhiro Matsuda. Do you know anything about Masahiro Chono?
I know he's a big deal. Dave Meltzer hates this match. It's one of the worst Shono matches ever.
Yeah, this is one of the worst Chono matches ever. Masahiro Chono, he's gonna become really popular later on because he actually becomes a member of NWA Japan.
NWO
And
Japan. Yeah, no, I know.
yeah,
He's a big
NWO
deal.
Japan, sorry.
He
Yeah, and he
becomes a
becomes a
big
big
deal.
deal. Steve Austin actually breaks his fucking neck with a pile driver that years later, Owen Hart will do the same thing to Steve Austin.
That just goes. Owen Hart worked for the Yakuza, so they had him.
Yeah,
Wasn't Vince.
yeah. By the way, Masahiro Chono, every once in a while, he's still doing commentary in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Still does it.
Tony Khan wants to see if he wants to wrestle Bryan Danielson on in the collision against WrestleMania. So
I think Masahiro Chono's last match was with Muda just last year.
yeah. I'm fucking with you, but I can see Tony Khan I can see Tony Khan counter programming WrestleMania with Masahiro Chono versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, he probably wants to. By the way, he did have his last match last year when after Muda lost his retirement match, he said, "Hey, Chono, come into the ring. Taika Hattori, come into the ring, and let's just do this really quick thing." And they just did this technically a match, with a bunch of old farts. Anyways,
Still better
Ole
than this
Anderson.
match. This match stunk.
Oh, you know who? You know what else stinks? Fucking Ole Anderson. He's useless as fucking hell.
God, dude.
I don't know. You know what? You got to give Ole Anderson some kind of credit because he was able to finesse Bill Watts into getting him so much screen time, even though he's so goddamn useless. You know,
But because
like
they're all part of the same good old boy network. They're all
yeah,
part of the same old man fucking everything sucks. Only we know what works, even though nobody's comes to see our shows anymore. Bullshit.
if everybody's wondering what's Ole Anderson doing in this match, his role is he's the coin toss.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't need him to be in this fucking
No.
role. He's like, I'm gonna be the coin tosser. And you know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna check out both referees. I'm gonna make sure that they're not holding any fucking foreign objects and shit. He's trying to look important. And I'm like, I'm watching this match before because there's like 7 fucking people in this ring for a one-on-one match. There's so many goddamn people just standing around. And I'm like, you fucking waste of money. Like there's so Bill Watts is just wasting money.
Mhm.
Anyways, Harley Race wins the coin toss, so he's the referee in the match. Um, Kensuke Sasaki is the referee outside the match. We start getting a we want Flair chant, which is gonna happen multiple times in this match. We're gonna get multiple woos happening in this match. I'm surprised we didn't get boos in this match. Rick Rude, he starts mouthing off to Chono early on, and Jim Ross goes, "Oh, that's pointless. Chono can't even speak English." And Jesse Ventura goes, "How do you know it's not in Japanese?" And this really annoys the shit out of Jim Ross. And I was while listening to this, I was thinking, man, if Gorilla Monsoon was there, and if Jesse Ventura had said that, he would have played off of it somehow. Like, well, do you speak Japanese or whatever? Just played it off. But Jim Ross was just like, it's not Japanese, okay? Like, he just was so fucking annoyed that he couldn't even offer that. Oh, what if it's in Japanese? It's so stupid. Anyway, Jesse Ventura, he mentioned, hey, look at Rick Rude's tights. I know he got the new tights. Jim Ross no sells that shit as well. He just fucking he hates Jesse Ventura. He does mention, hey, Rick Rude's got no mustache. And then Jim Ross kind of finally lightens up and he goes, yeah, Rick Rude said he fucking shaved it off to be lighter for his match. And, Jesse, like, he laughs at that at least. This is a slow, nothing happening match at all. Nothing happens almost. Jim Ross mentions, hey, Chono's got an STF finisher. It's fucking not to be messed with. He even beat Muda with that, which is a name that people would recognize in WCW. The crowd starts getting really ugly in this match because Rick Rude, like, he just puts on like the longest headlock you'll ever fucking see. And the crowd's getting annoyed. Rick Rude hits a pile driver, which gets a little reaction. But he can't get the pinfall. Rick Rude climbs into the top rope, and then he just kind of jumps off, and they do this like they're sloppy encounter between these two guys. They're just not on the same page. Rick Rude puts on another fucking long headlock, and then he exchanges the headlock for a really long sleeper. That's the worst thing I ever seen. He got the headlock, it's really long, and just changes it to a sleeper. The crowd starts like getting excited, and it's not for the match. Something's happening in the stands.
Yeah.
Everyone starts looking. I think there's a fight happening. While Rick Rude has the sleeper on, we get the 20-minute time. It was 20 minutes of fucking headlocks. And then Rick Rude does a top rope drop kick and he misses. Chono, the finish comes when Chono miscues a kick and he kicks Harley Race, the referee, outside the ring. Chono then throws Rick Rude out the ring and then onto both referees. Rick Rude hits the Rude Awakening, but both referees are down. So nobody can make the count. This is very similar to what just fucking happened in the last match, too. Same
Because
fucking
they have no ideas. They have no ideas.
yeah. Two referees, both from the outside, can't make the count. Tono applies the STF and Rick Rude taps. But Harley Race and Sakaguchi start arguing, and Harley Race goes, hey, Chono, I saw Chono throw Rick Rude out over the top rope. It's DQ. Fucking Rick Rude wins. Sasaki gets really mad at this, and he starts attacking both Harley Race and Rick Rude. And actually, the only thing that gets a reaction from this, me personally, I wish I had never seen this.
This match was horrible. Look, first of all, here's the thing, and this is nobody ever learns this. The majority of the fans don't give a fuck about New Japan Wrestling. They just don't give a fuck about it. You can bring also, it probably was harder to give a fuck about it back then because how are you supposed to know who these people are? You can't watch New Japan Wrestling anywhere unless you know a guy who on the Dave Meltzer classic. I think Dave Meltzer used to have classifieds in his Observer back then. So like you had to know a guy that like tape traded. So you don't know who these fucking guys are. So they really don't give a shit. Then you complicate it with like two different referees, a coin toss, and then you just do the headlock, and it's like, dude, like nobody gives a fuck about any of this, and you're just having it go on and on and on. And not only do people not give a fuck about this, you're making them care less about it the way you're wrestling. And
Yeah.
it's and even if the guys are wrestling good, you've confused it with the 27 referees and this, that, and the third, and Medusa is out there when she was supposed to be a baby face now. It was awful, and it was an embarrassment, and it was terrible. It was terrible.
Dave Meltzer, guess how many stars or negative stars he gave this?
Like -5, right?
No, he gave it -3 stars. So that means this match is still technically rated better than Hulk Hogan versus
Oh
Andre the
yeah, it
Giant
has to be.
from
It has to be.
WrestleMania 3, which got -4 stars.
But
So
like, let me tell you something. Dave Meltzer, his instinct with a lot of these Japanese guys is to give the matches like a high rating. So for him to hate it, for him to like shit on it, like it's bad. Okay, so we're talking about Ron Simmons.
yeah, Ron Simmons versus Barbarian, who is being trained by Cactus Jack, and they're just two big guys, and they're doing the thing where they're just like um, bumping into each other, and Ron wants more. He just like they're colliding, but nobody is going down, and Ron's asking for more, and Barbarian has to roll outside to talk to Cactus Jack and get some advice, and then. As Ron follows him outside, Barbarian gets the edge and he starts beating on Ron Simmons. It gets the heat on, and the crowd is completely dead for this. Nobody gives a fuck. The energy's all sucked out. Barbarian has a clutch on that Jim Ross calls the Shinanumaki, which Jesse Ventura starts questioning the Shinanumaki, and JR gets so annoyed that he's asking him about the Shinanumaki. He goes like, "Where's that from? What languages?" And he gets annoyed. And I was like, "This fucker, 30 years later, is gonna do the same fucking thing to Excalibur." You know, where it's gonna like Excalibur gonna say something Japanese, and he's gonna be like, "What the hell is that?" It's like, I wish Jr. would watch some of his old fucking like commentary things and just see how hypocritical he is. Sometimes, you know, another reason why I didn't fucking like him in the show.
Yeah, no. He just constantly gets mad at Jesse, man. He just does it. He's just decided I'm not making this work.
Yeah, and here's the thing: it's not like Jesse Ventura is saying or doing anything that's like out of the ordinary. Jim Ross is the one who wants to call the Shinanumaki out of nowhere, right? So of course he's gonna fucking question that. You know, nobody's Japanese in this fucking ring either. What is happening? Anyways, Barbarian goes for a top rope elbow drop, but he misses Ron Simmons and he moves out of the way. Ron fires back. He's getting no reaction. He does a shoulder block. He knocks Cactus Jack off the apron, but then Barbarian kicks him in the back of the head. And then while he climbs up to the top and he hits a flying headbutt, his finisher, but Ron kicks out. And then Ron hits a power slam out of nowhere for the win. Keep in mind, Ron Simmons is the world champion at this time, and I thought he was not getting any sort of reaction, really. What about you?
No, but it doesn't help that his opponent is the Barbarian. It's like this guy was a jobber in WWF. You put him back in his Powers of Pain outfit. I think Bill Watts liked the Barbarian and he knew him, which is why I put him in this position. But it doesn't matter that you like this guy, you know him. The audience has been trained to think of this guy as a fucking loser. And now you're telling us how powerful he is. So he's powerful in WCW, but he was a bitch in WWF. Marty Jannetty was whooping his ass. Does that mean Marty Jannetty is like more powerful than everyone in WCW? Like, you didn't do enough rehab on this guy. Maybe change his name, maybe, but you literally made him the Powers of Pain Barbarian.
No, that's a very good point you're making. That is, yeah, that's very absolutely right. You know, he's
Yeah.
losing to the audience doesn't buy the Barbarian. You're right. I see a
Yeah,
point.
yeah. It's like if you built him up, but it's like I feel like Bill Watts like, well, I like the Barbarian, and yeah, okay. Oh, and in real life he's tough. Okay, but Vince McMahon had him getting beat up by the Rockers and by the Bushwhackers.
Speaking
So,
of, yeah, keep going.
and you just took that guy and you plopped him in WCW and told us that he's more powerful than everyone.
Yeah.
Good.
Speaking of Marty Jannetty, he may be losing his leg.
Yeah.
So if you're a Marty Jannetty fan, keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Going back to this shit show, Tony Schiavone is with Bruno San Martino,
Lots
and
of
they're
shit.
talking about what?
Lots of shit shows. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. They're talking about the youth movement in WCW. They keep mentioning, oh, we got a lot of large youth movement happening here, like Eric Watts, and like guys like Eric Watts. They keep mentioning Eric Watts. So then they invite Eric Watts up, and he comes out to some booze. I was like,
Everybody,
for fun.
Everybody knows what the thing is. This guy's just pushing his kid and his friend.
Oh, nepotism. I love it, man. Um, Ron Simmons joins him and he goes like, "Kid, I'm gonna give you some lessons about being a world champion." Eric Watts, he's just like to me, he is what the definition of stench of failure. You know, he comes in with like his dad, and his dad's just like constantly pushing him up, propping him up, right?
Mhm.
It's just like, oh, that's too much for me. Ugh.
On every level,
Anyway,
Bill Watts is a failure.
yeah,
On
yeah,
every
yeah.
level. On every level. And it's so obvious what he was doing on this show. And he's doing it to the detriment of this company. And nowhere else shows the incompetence of Bill Watts than the main event.
Oh, which is what we're gonna talk about right now. It is the coal miners glove match. Okay, it's not for the world title, not for any titles. And Jim Ross and Jesse Ventura, they mentioned, hey, by the way, this is a non-sanctioned match by WCW. So, if you know, like if anybody gets injured, our hands, this company, we're not liable for anything. They had to all sign people a document.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Capetta, and he's announcing, he calls this match the non-sanctioned lights out match. It's the coal miner's glove match. He's fucking even he is confused. He's just like doesn't know what to call it. Jake Roberts versus Sting in the coal miner's glove non-sanctioned lights out match, or whatever the fuck it's gonna be called. Um, Dude, WCW did a lot of pole matches. Like they really love pole matches, dude.
Oh
Things
yeah,
on
and they
poles.
played Vince Russo, but there's pole matches throughout.
Before Vince Russo.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a pole match with Earthquake at the '96 Bash at the Beach. They wanted Earthquake to climb a fucking pole.
Stupid. Dude, wasn't there even another pole match before this one?
Yeah, yeah. I think it was like a flag or something.
Yeah, yeah. They just love fucking pole matches. It's
They
goddamn
just
stupid.
love they book a stipulation match without wondering if the workers can work the stipulation match. When they put PN
Yeah.
News this
Yeah.
match, and then they were shocked that the match was unwatchable.
Yeah.
It's
They,
like it's
they
like a
just book
WrestleMania 10. If they were like, instead of Shawn Michaels and Razor in the ladder match, let's put Earthquake and Adam Bomb in the ladder.
yeah.
And then,
It's
well,
like we're gonna
why is this not
we're
good?
gonna we're gonna book a tuba match. The first person who could play a song in the tuba wins the match. Be the both guys are like, we don't know how to play the fucking tuba. It doesn't matter. It
Doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter. We're gonna get it
We
done.
just decided to put you in this.
Yeah. So, anyways, both men, Jake Roberts and Sting, they're both trying to go for the glove early. Um, it doesn't work because both guys are still like so, they're up. So they're like, all right, we gotta just start fighting. They start wrestling, And they each taking turns climbing the pole, trying to get the fucking glove. But when it's Jake's Roberts' turn, Sting crotches him, which gets a kind of a good reaction. Then they go outside, and then Jake picks up the chair and he uses it on Sting. And I start going, that's right. This is a no sanctions match. It means you can do whatever the fuck you want. So why are you constantly going for this fucking glove that you can't get? The chair is right outside. Why don't you just use it to beat the shit out of him? You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But no, that's not what it is. You got to get that glove, I guess. Jake, he chokes Sting out with the tape on his wrist, and the ref stops Jake Roberts from using it. And even Jesse Ventura is asking, like, why is the referee stopping him? There's no sanction. It doesn't fucking matter. And I'm like, yeah, why is that happening? And I remembered, oh, I know the reason why. Because Bill Watts is a dumbass. That's why.
Yes, that's why.
Jake Roberts hits the DDT, and while after he does that, he hurts his left arm, and he could obviously maybe hit Sting with another DDT. Maybe he could fucking cover him, but like a fool, he decides to go up this fucking pole and get the glove. And he's not getting the glove, but Sting does this amazing move. This is probably the only thing worth watching in this entire pay per view. I'm telling you, this one move is the only thing worth watching in this entire pay per view.
Mm-hmm.
Sting runs on the apron, he jumps and grabs the pole and swings himself around, and then he back elbows Jake Roberts in the face. That
Mm-hmm.
was like the coolest fucking move I've ever seen being done. Cactus Jack runs down and he gives Jake the Snake Roberts his snake, his cobra, But while that's happening, Sting gets the glove, and while Jake Roberts is backing up with the Cobra, Sting hits Jake Roberts in the back with the glove, and Jake has to pretend that this Cobra is biting him. He like fucking puts it up to
Mhm.
his neck. Sting covers him for the win. And there's a moment where Jake's laying down the ground. He takes a stick and he checks it out, and then he puts it, reapplies it back on his fucking neck. He forgot to yell cut when he did that. He should
Mhm.
have between takes.
Mhm.
Jake Roberts gets a Cobra, biting him on the cheek eventually, and he's bleeding on the face. And him and Cactus Jack leave. Um, I I think we need to put in a new rule, man. If you make me watch an entirely bad pay per view, you need to apologize to me.
Dude, we're just going in order, all right?
Fair,
It's not like I'm
please.
picking these. Not like I'm like, oh, I really want to. I'm just literally going in chronological order. Hopefully, viewers appreciate. Dude, I didn't enjoy this either. This was an example of Bill Watts is not like Jake Roberts, right?
Yeah,
And when they signed Jake Roberts, he cut his pay in half and decided to book him like a fucking idiot.
yeah.
And here's the thing: a year before, Jake is hot as fuck, and he's on the top of his game. And to get Jake Roberts after WrestleMania 8 is a coup. That's a coup. That's one of WWF's top guys. And rather than capitalize on this guy and make him look good, you and I understand Jake looked like a slob, right? But you make him look like an idiot. You kill his gimmick. You know they told Jake left after this match, that if he were to continue, he would no longer have a snake. There's just never have a snake again. Like, so you kill the snake gimmick right away. Like, this guy controlled snakes every fucking match in WWF. Gets to WCW, his first big match, his snake is he's like, oh, snakes! He looks like a fucking
Wait,
idiot.
he left right after this.
Yeah, because they were cutting his money, and then Bill Watts made up some bullshit like he failed the drug test. Like Bill Watts basically like chased him out. He chased that Bill
Yeah,
Jake the Snake had a great deal where he was gonna like work backstage, be one of the top stars, be like one of the focuses. And when Bill Watts showed up, he ripped up the contract, gave him shit fucking money, and then booked him like an idiot because he didn't like Jake.
that's not how contracts work, though. You can't just rip up pieces of
That's what he
paper.
was doing. He was ripping up contracts and rewriting them. I don't know. Don't ask me. Right? That's how Bill Watts does it.
Okay.
And these are the same. Listen, these are wrestlers. They're not the smartest. All right. They probably. Oh, I guess it's null and void. You ripped it up.
I do think there's a lot of times where Jake Roberts, when he's telling a story, he embellishes a lot
Well,
of
I
things.
listened to a shoot interview with Bill Watts, and Bill Watts did say he cut his money, that he didn't see any value in him.
Yeah, Bill Watts is a fucking idiot.
I mean, I don't think he literally ripped it up. He probably like said, "I'm restructuring." He probably had the power to restructure contracts because
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was there to
I
save the
could believe
company
that.
money. So he
Yes.
probably said, "You're going to be paid like dog shit, and I'm not going to make you a top guy anymore." Like he probably did have the power to do that. So that's big. It's kind of like ripping up a contract. If you get a new boss, and your new boss says, "I have the power. I'm cutting your salary in half." He did rip up your contract, Andrew Libra.
Yeah.
Even though like he
Uh,
didn't like literally rip up pieces of paper. But dude, I don't care that you don't like Jake Roberts. That's not my problem. As a fan in that era, I want to see more Jake Roberts. When he vanished, I was like, where is he? Where did he go? I want to see him in one of the companies. It's not, it's your, this is for you to get me to watch the show. You have to figure out how to work with Jake Roberts. And you have to figure out how to make him shine. Not fucking chase him out of the company because you're a selfish fucking fat old pig. That's why you did that. And man, but again, also I have to say, Jake Roberts looked like dog shit. He looked like absolute dog shit. One of the worst. You know what? People call this match wrestle crap. I consider wrestle crap so bad it's good. This whole show is insultingly bad. It's insultingly bad.
that's a good point. Yes, Wrestle Crap is so bad it's good, like the shock.
And the
This
Chamber of
is
Horrors last year.
yeah, this is not it. This is just god awful
I
shit.
would
It's
say like
boring.
the Money in the Bank match in 2020 is wrestle crap. Remember when they threw Rey Mysterio off Titan Towers?
Yeah. I
That's
agree.
fun. That's
It's
fun.
so bad it's fun to watch. But yeah, this is the very worst of pro wrestling in the sense that things don't make sense. Things are not the wrestling itself is not entertaining,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
it just drags and um like literally, if I'm telling you that the only thing worth watching in this is like one wrestling move, that's telling you. I'm not even saying a match. I'm saying one move is only the only thing worth
I
watching in
don't
this whole
even
pay-per-view.
I
Yeah.
don't even think that's worth. I think nothing here is worth it. There's no effort. Even if you like are in like a spooky mood, like you want to just watch a Halloween Havoc because you feel
Keep mood.
like you feel like watching something October related, and but you also want to watch wrestling. Even I wouldn't even say watch it for that. All the other Halloween Havocs, like they try to have an atmosphere. This has no atmosphere. It is so fucking insulting. It's so low rent, and I can't believe that him and Jim Ross thought this was an acceptable thing to put on TV. Just an embarrassment, a
I
complete embarrassment.
I would say only watch this if you are like trying to kick the wrestling habit, where you're just like, I don't want to watch wrestling as much as I do anymore. I don't. It's like too time consuming. I don't want to do this anymore. And you want to like, you want your love of wrestling to diminish. This is what you watch, and I guarantee you're not going to want to watch wrestling for a good week or so. At
I
least.
don't understand. Dave Meltzer and Wade Keller were so upset when Hulk Hogan signed with WCW. What, what was worth saving before Hulk Hogan? Like, what? This show is like garbage. 94 Halloween Havoc, I've seen it before, a billion times better. Billion times better in 2 years. And I don't understand what you think Hulk Hogan was preventing you from seeing. Because
Oh,
this
I
shit is
know.
atrocious.
They're gonna be like, oh, Hogan's so lazy, he's not gonna want to climb any poles. Right? Like there goes WCW's signature match frame. Thanks a lot, Hogan.
Oh my God. Really quick before we move on to the plugs for the next few weeks.
Yar.
We had to record the last half of this podcast the next day. We started on Wednesday. Now it's Thursday, February 1st. John Laurinaitis, his lawyers issued a statement that John Laurinaitis is also a victim, basically confirming that everything in the lawsuit is true, but Vince forced him to do it, and the lawyer said if you look at employee laws, Vince McMahon, basically implying that Vince McMahon forced him, held his job over him, made him have three ways, made him fuck this woman, and he's gonna take Vince to court. He turned on Vince. So, what do you think of that?
I think, oh, you reap what you sow, you know?
All
And I
across the board.
think him, John Laurinaitis, like good. Vince, by the way, if you guys don't know, Junior's response to this lawsuit is that she's lying and she's telling lies. That was his response, right?
Yeah.
John Laurinaitis is not saying any of that. So it's like
He's saying he was
he's
victimized as well.
yeah, what?
He's saying that he was victimized as well.
Yeah. He's not denying any of this stuff happened like Junior is, which pretty much confirms that these stories are probably all true. And he's going like, all right, there's no way I can disprove this, so I gotta take a different route that I was also a victim in.
That Vince said if you don't, this is what he's gonna say. Vince, he could say like, because remember his wife just had cancer. Vince
Yeah,
said that, like
the
if I
Bella's
don't fuck
mom.
what the
The
Bella's mom,
Bella's mom.
if I don't fuck this woman, he's gonna fire the Bellas. He's gonna take away my health care. That's what he's gonna. And that's the. I think that's the road he's gonna go down. That
Yeah,
Vince took
and
the
I think
job
that's
over
the
his
smart road. I think that's a smart road for him to go down. Yeah, I think
um
all
yeah.
the negative energy that Vince McMahon Jr. has been putting out into the energy into the world for decades, I think it's finally starting to catch up.
But here's the thing: I don't think Vince forced them to do anything. I think they were both.
Of course not, but that's not the point. Yeah,
I know.
it's coming down on him hard. Actually, um,
You know what I found weird, dude? You know what I found weird out of nowhere? Because you remember I get the Conrad podcast, right?
yeah.
Suddenly this week, Foley and Kurt Angle both ended their podcasts. Like,
Wait,
why
what?
Foley and Kurt Angle, they ended their podcast this week. Foley's last podcast comes out tomorrow.
They folded their podcast.
Ended. It's over. They just canceled them this week.
Foley and Kurt Angle are both simultaneously ending their podcast.
Podcast.
Why?
Why this week of all weeks?
Yeah, why?
I think there's more stuff that we don't know about.
Oh, do you think it's
I mean,
because
I'm
they?
just freestyling. I'm just freestyling. But why is this the week you both want to end your podcasts?
Is it because they may
Their numbers
know?
could be shit. Their numbers could be shit.
Yeah,
And
or
it's
it could they know so much about this and they don't want to be hounded and liable for anything.
or yeah, something's going on. If you notice, Kevin Nash did not cover it on his podcast. There's stuff's listen. Let me tell you something, Andrew Lee, bro. Stuff is gonna
Mhm.
go down. I mean, just today they asked Shawn Michaels about raping people, and he faced it. He faced it head on. I got to give him credit. Did you see that they? There's all these rumors that Shawn Michaels would drug women and rape them.
Yeah, yeah. What did he say?
He said everything I did was consensual. Beefcake walked it back, and then he said some more stuff. But he like kind of like, I'm not a saint, but it was never non-consensual. I did a lot of. I'm paraphrasing. I did a lot of weird shit, but basically everyone was on board with it. Nobody was like the women were consensual. I never fucked anyone against their will.
Oh, yeah, remember, keep in mind, I work all day, right? So I haven't been looking at the
Oh
news.
no, no, I don't. I'm just trying to. I think basically that's what he was getting at. That
No,
like,
no, no. I'm looking
yeah,
at
I
this
did,
now.
I did fuck a lot of bitches, but like.
Yeah, this is basically, yeah,
And
yeah.
Beefcake also, because they said Beefcake said they saw you do it. He goes, well, actually, Beefcake walked it back. He said he apologized to me. Let's see what Marty
Yeah,
Jannetty
look,
has to say.
this is what Shawn Michaels said. Look, I will say this as I've never, shied away from the stupid stuff I did in the past. He responded, if you go back and ask Brutus Beefcake, he'll tell you, one, never seen any of that actually happen. Again, wrestling stories. He's also retracted it after saying it. I can say this. I've had a lot of struggles in my life, and I don't know how to say this without sounding, I don't know, shameful. But being with a lady was not something Shawn Michaels had a difficult time doing, which I kind of do believe.
Yeah.
I've never been in a situation where that was not consensual or any way, shape, or form. I've never taken advantage of someone in that respect. Those things are done for two reasons, and I've had a lot of counseling in my lifetime. And the reason you do that stuff is because you dislike women or you have power issues. Shawn Michaels did not have those. He had insecurity issues and he had problems feeling like he wasn't enough. That's why you go to drugs and downers and other stuff is built on power and disrespect for women, which is something I've never had. So any accusations against me as far as non-consensual time with a woman simply are not true. And that's why they've never come up in anything other than, I don't know, mean to be mean to you guys, but it's never come up anytime other than wrestling stories. And I don't know what to say. Back in the day, it was dirt sheets. And those things start from guys spinning a lot of stories that were not true. You know what? That's a very good response, I gotta admit. And
That's a very
that's no me. I'm not a Shawn Michaels fan.
he basically tackled it out, and he also gave himself wiggle room. Go back. He said, "I never took advantage of anyone in that way." Did you hear him what he said? In that way,
Mm.
which
Hmm.
means he gave himself wiggle room. If some woman from some fucking grandma from 1985 comes out and goes, "Well, you did take advantage of me in this way," and then he could be like, "Well, yeah, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, that's
Lied to
true.
me. You said you were Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I'm just the sexy boy." Yeah, it was good. I mean, this is the thing, dude. I think the thing is, and I'm not saying anything about Foley or Angle. I think a lot of these guys are gonna have to confront head on what they did, because a lot of things that were okay in the 80s and 90s aren't okay now, and younger fans will turn on you when they find those stories. For me, it is what it is. If you thought these people were fucking saints, you're a fucking idiot. You know?
Do you remember in like 2020, I think it was, there was like the Me Too movement happened at fucking in the British wrestling scene?
Hmm.
And that was in large part one of the things that took down the British indie wrestling scene.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Progress was never the
think,
same.
yeah, I think, yeah, progress was never the same after that. I think we're about to start experiencing that in the U.S. pretty soon.
Yeah, but what I think is, I think that there's things that people like, and I'm not saying they were involved in any of this. People like Kurt Angle, people like Foley, people like Kevin Nash don't want to talk about,
Of course,
because they
yeah, of
just don't
course.
want to confront head on what went down. And I'm not saying they were involved in it, but I think a lot of these guys who like this, who I think a lot of these guys who want to sit on podcasts, I'll tell you who shouldn't ever do a podcast ever again is Ric Flair. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Just
Uh-huh.
I think there's gonna be a trail of shit. It's gonna fall on everyone, and I think it's smart for a lot of people to shut up.
I think also Dark Side of the Ring is gonna be have material for years and years to come.
Let's just think about this, bro. Can you imagine? So I think a lot of these guys, even though if they were, I think a lot of people, even like Bret Hart or like Jesse Ventura, still had the wrestler code. Like they were like fuck Vince McMahon. But I think like this is my thing. Well, wrestler code, I mean, I think even if Bret Hart knew that Vince like slept with like 1,000 women and he knew the names, he wouldn't have given it up even after Montreal because it's wrestler code. Same thing with Vince is not going to give up what Bret did, even though they fucked each other over. But it's different. It's a different level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Wrestler,
yeah,
it's like a wrestler code. They all protect one another. Can you imagine if someone like Jesse Ventura or Jim Ross tomorrow just goes fuck it and tells everyone everything they know or saw? Just fucking just went up, just went a loose, or Bruce Pritchard just went fuck it and went loose. Can you imagine what what would happen to Vince McMahon and a
yeah.
lot
I
of
mean, there's still a point of you gotta prove it and stuff, right?
I know, but like
Because Shawn Michaels makes a good point. A lot of these are just like wrestling
I
stories.
know. But what I'm saying is, if Jim Ross like had proof of shit, like, or Jesse Ventura had proof, and they came out with it, and they're like, "Here's all this shit I know, and here's the receipts," like the fucking wrestling would collapse. Like Vince has to be shitting his pants because he has. There are probably people out there with receipts on him of some weird
I
shit.
don't think it will collapse, but I think it would help AEW a bit.
I don't think anything helping AEW, bro. Let me tell you something. They should could shut down WWF tomorrow. It ain't helping AEW. That shit's a wrap. Because it's over. It's all. I tried to watch it last night. There's still nobody in the ring. And dude, he talks shit about TNA. He's running. He ran Deanna Purrazzo, Taya Valkyrie. That's a fucking pandemic era TNA match back when he was shitting on it every week. And like, dude, he's just the AEW's done. He's just in his sandbox now. It's just a kid playing with action figures. Everyone's realized it.
Well, I don't know. I think if you're a wrestling fan and you're all these WWF wrestler stories, terrible rape stories start coming out, and you're like, oh, I can't watch this crap, but I don't want to give up wrestling. I think you're just going to automatically tune into AEW. I think that's what's going to.
You know what I think's gonna happen? I think a lot of people are just gonna stop watching. The world
That's
class
also possible. That is
the
also
world
possible.
class fans didn't go to WWF. They just stopped watching. Like the WWF couldn't draw in that area for like 15 years.
Yeah,
People just didn't want to see wrestling anymore because of everything, all the bullshit. So,
that's also possible.
but you know who's gonna keep watching wrestling? These two idiots.
Yeah.
Listen, let's go over the next 4 weeks. All right, next week, thank God, Survivor Series 92, Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. Um, then in 2 weeks, Battle Bowl, Starcade 91
Uh,
two. But there are regular matches too. One of them is Sting versus Vader. That's the main event. Then in 3 weeks, Royal Rumble 93, Razor Ramon versus Bret Hart. Then in 4 weeks, Super Bowl 3, Vader versus Sting again.
no, man. I'm excited to see Royal Rumble. What about you?
Still Survivor Season 92. I have a good feeling about that Bret Shawn match. I felt like I kind of am really excited to just watch Shawn's first main event. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just excited to see anything that's not WCW at this point.
So Super Bowl 3 is the first show where Bischoff has control. However, um, he doesn't get involved in the booking until Hogan shows up. So he's
Okay.
basically, but Bill Watts is out by Super Bowl 3. So we got one more Bill Watts show
Oh my God. I can't take these Bill Watch shows, but all right, one more.
and
We're going with a bang.
fucking Battle Bowl, bro. They how the fuck did they were they like we got to bring that back next year? That
Yeah,
was
I can't wait for Jim Ross to leave the company too.
oh next this is his last pay per view coming up.
I know. I can't wait for them both to be gone to WCW.
Guys, if you enjoyed this, follow me, Ray Goots Comedy on TikTok. Subscribe to the podcast. We have a Patreon. I'll have the link in the description. Oh, it's only $1. $5 you get the video version. No one wants the video version, but it's there. I gotta upload it. Just in case anyone ever wants it. Like, where the fuck are the video versions? And yeah, next week, it's Survivor Series, and hopefully WWF survives another week as with the scandal. Thanks, guys.